There we go. Keep the light on there. So, first day off D-Life. How's it going? How's it been? You guys tell me. You all will have to tell me. I have been busy all day, so. Hey, look at that. There's my Rumble chat. Cool. I don't know if I need to refresh it or... Oh, maybe... Yeah, it disappeared. Alright. I guess I gotta find it all over again. That's nice. The D-Live was nice because you could, or the chat was anyway, because you could just leave it running forever and it would just stay there. You just pop the chat out, have it in a little pop-out window, just the chat, no stream. And even when the stream would go down, it would stay there, it would be totally fine. Best. Wish Rumble had that. Oh, you know what I do have though is the restream. That might actually work that way. I bet it does. Let's see. Chat, embed chat, launch chat. Launch it in a little window. Hey, look at that. There we go. I got it. It's the same thing y'all see up. My fingers don't point that far. But up in that corner. I replaced the D-Live chat with a, technically a universal chat. A universal chat that doesn't include Vaughn, because Restream does not interface with Vaughn this time. I think X messages do show up there though. So if you make a comment on X, it should show up in this chat. Up in that corner, up in the top left. It should be both Rumble and X, I believe. Let me see, what do we have? Still, what's left? I guess that's it. Yeah, Rumble and X. Well, that's fine. And and Vaughn. That's fine with me. I'd actually prefer it were one. To be honest. I think again I will keep X going simply because it's serves a good archival function. Has for a while. I don't think we'll be streaming any other places. We're going to be focusing our energies on Rumble completely. So, everybody to Rumble. Rumble or bust, all right? Unless X magically becomes better than Rumble overnight somehow and implements like this banging amazing live streaming. Hey, look at that. It does work. There's Soko testing the oh, not that. Back here. Testing the X restream chat functionality. It does indeed work. Unfortunately, it can't mirror, like, I know Restream can mirror with a lot of services. X is not one of them. It can show the X incoming messages, but it can't, like, send messages back and forth between Rumble and X. Which sucks, but oh well. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let me get browser window all set up there. And we can jump in. Oh, you know what sucks about that pop-out window, though, is I can't chat from it. That blows. That totally blows. Boo. 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 Boo stream. Back to Rumble it is. All right. I got to see what I could find out with Restream if there's a way to get like a persistent chat like that. Definitely be nice. Okay, pop out. Oh, it works. Yay. Cool. Do I have anything tagged first up? Oh, just space tards. Okay. No, we'll skip that. I think we covered those the other day. Oh, this we did not, though. Iran accepting the ceasefire was reportedly driven by a last-minute intervention by China. Although now it sounds like the ceasefire just... Well, it ceased. The ceasefire has ceased. We've ceased the ceasefire. Whopping 18 hours. That's how Iran does things, though. You know, they like to give and take a little, give a little, take a little, play the game. You know, I saw their little press release with the bravado and the. It's a very Middle Eastern kind of thing, I guess. So I expect they'll probably go through a few rounds of this, and as we've seen in the past, and things will wrap up. Might take a few, but it will. They certainly can't afford to keep it going. I mean, neither can we, but we can afford to keep doing it longer. Guarantee that. Right. Let's see. What do we have today? Welcome back, Steph. Hi, Steph. Looks like we got a lot to go through. All right. Fine by me. A lot to check out. All right, that's into yesterday. Cool. Schedule for today is, or was... Oh, there's a Freedom 250 reception going on, like, right about now. Let's check that out. See if it's happening or what. Oh, and what's going on with the
flight control team, and so they've been on console since about 48 hours before launch, keeping close eye on all of the systems, looking at all the data, modifying procedures as needed, and then just watching how the systems are performing. So providing all really deep technical insight to that operating team. So that's also located here in Building 30 in the Mission Control Center, and so that's our ARMR team working hard around the clock supporting the spacecraft. Second graphic I have is a few days ago I showed you some imagery of the crew module images we got down from our first external survey that was right after the TLI burn. So we actually do another external survey on the way home. This is our inbound external inspection. So I think go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is kind of two different views of the spacecraft. Again, did a comprehensive review of all the imagery that we were getting down off the surface of the crew module. No concerns, no issues seen that would make us have any pause for the reentry phase. Everything is in excellent condition for that entry. So that's our pretty crew module. I think we have a couple of pictures of the service module as well. Yeah, so we obviously don't bring the service module home. As we mentioned, that gets separated about 40 minutes before splashdown. But we did get some nice imagery. And the next one I thought was interesting. It's a picture of the solar arrays, but it's actually the backside of the solar array, which we don't normally see. So anyway, poured over all this imagery, and everything looks really good for the return.
Cool.
Operations-wise, there's
can't wait to see the high quality stuff. That should be fun.
a few other things going on in the cabin. One interesting test that we're doing today is when you pressurize the cabin, the panels and things that are connected there, kind of shift around a little bit. And so we're having a demonstration of can you actually remove some fasteners in those panels and put them back in? Do the structures still line up enough that you can do that? This is to help us prove out if
probably good to test.
We needed to do any kind of maintenance or
emergency stuff happens.
Contingency access to like our ECLA system. So we'll be looking at that today to see if that demonstration works out well. We're also doing some demonstration what's called 20 by 20 degree dead banding. This is pointing the spacecraft a little bit different throughout the day to test thermal responsiveness of the systems externally to see if we can expand our operating envelope for future missions. So I guess some other things, we've collected a lot of data on this mission. We'll be getting a lot of that data back when it comes back, but did want to mention a couple things. We've consumed 2,964 pounds of fuel in the service module. We have 4,285 to go. So clearly we had put a lot of margin into this mission to make sure we could fly it properly. 9,855 commands have been uplinked, so been busy for the flight control team and the MER team doing all of that. And then we mentioned the optical comm and how effective that has been in getting data down. 122 gigabytes of data downloaded. That was a record. That was in a single day. That was today. And a total of over 312 gigabytes of data coming down on that optical comm system. So that's been really...
That's, it is both amazing that they can do that in the first place, and it's also like amazing how low that is, like how tiny an amount of data is. Oh, wow, 128 gigabytes in a day. I wonder what it is at like the absolute worst point when they're like about to peak around the moon there. Pretty cool. Well, I would love to know more about the system that they have had to build over the years to make that work, to be able to transfer data from deep, way out there, moon orbit. Like it's fascinating stuff. That's really cool. I mean, at least to me anyway. I enjoy nerding out over hardware and fun stuff like that. All right, where is the White House here? So it looks like nothing. They don't have anything cooking right now. Maybe it's upcoming or something, or maybe we don't get to see any of it. It says closed press, so who knows? President Trump takes victory lap on Marjorie Taylor Greene after Clay Fuller, Republican, wins special election in Georgia. Large Marge. Marjorie Trader Brown. Oh, yeah, that's what he calls her. Green turns to brown under stress. Where does he get this stuff, man? Seat in Congress has been taken over by a wonderful and talented man, Clay Fuller, who won convincingly and right from the beginning, despite many people running for that Trump plus 37 seat. Yeah, yikes. Congratulations to Clay. Large improvement over his deranged predecessor. Oh, boy. Okay. Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kane hold press briefing on Operation, what the F's it called again? Fury, whatever the hell. Epic Fury? Are they still calling it that? Yeah, that's it. Oh, this is the whole last thing. All right, we'll take the highlights.
And the free world. Iran has been a threat to the United States and the free world for 47 years. Chance of death to America, targeting our people, killing Americans, lying and blackmailing their way toward a nuclear weapon, so they thought. No longer. Not on our watch. Other presidents marked time and kicked the can down the road. President Trump made history. From the strike that took out Qasem Soleimani, to tearing up the disastrous Obama-Iran deal, to the precision campaign that obliterated Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, to the decisive military victory we just achieved in Operation Epic Fury. No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it.
And it's gone.
As the President Truth this morning, a big day for
That's
world
to be
peace.
expected, though.
Iran wants it
They'll
to happen.
get to another one.
They've had enough. Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory. By any measure, Epic Fury decimated Iran's military and rendered it combat ineffective for years to come. You see, in less than 40 days, one of our combatant commands, Central Command, CENTCOM, using less than 10% of America's total combat power, dismantled one of the world's largest militaries. The world's leading state sponsor of terrorism proved utterly incapable of defending itself, its people, or its territory. We untied just a fraction of our strength, and Iran suffered a devastating military defeat. Together with our Israeli partners, America's military achieved every single objective, on plan, on schedule, exactly as laid out from day one.
Bye-bye. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me, excuse me. Okay. Let's see here.
Navy is at the bottom of the sea.
Iran's Navy, that was. Iran's Navy is at the bottom of the sea.
Whether it's the Soleimani class, their frigate class, their
Frigate.
prized drone aircraft carriers, submarines, mine layers, sunk. Iran's Air Force has been wiped out. Iran no longer has an air defense, any sort of a comprehensive air defense system. We own their skies. Their missile program is functionally destroyed. Launchers, production facilities, and existing stockpiles depleted and decimated. And almost completely ineffective. Iran shot hundreds and hundreds of missiles and one-way attack drones at our aircraft carrier. They were obsessed with it, and they never got even close. Every single one of those shots easily shot down miles and miles away from the Abe Lincoln. They were blowing ammo into fantasy land. Contrast that with, most significantly, in last night's wave of more than 800 strikes, we finished completely destroying Iran's defense industrial base, a core pillar of our mission objective. What little they have left buried in bunkers is all they will have. They can still shoot, we know that. Their command and control is so decimated they can't really talk and coordinate, so they still may shoot here and there, but that would be very, very unwise. But they can no longer build missiles, build rockets, build launchers, or build UAVs. Their factories have been razed to the ground, set back in historic fashion. You see, had Iran refused our terms, the next targets would have been their power plants, their bridges, and oil and energy infrastructure, targets they could not defend and could not realistically rebuild. It would have taken them decades, and we were locked and loaded. They couldn't defend against it. President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes.
And then?
But he chose mercy. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure. The new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them. This new regime just happened to look at what happened to their predecessors. Their top leadership was systematically eliminated. The previous Iranian supreme leader, dead. The Supreme National Security Council Secretary, dead.
Dead.
The Supreme Leader Office Advisor, dead. The Supreme Leader Military Office Chief,
dead.
I think we can skip the rest. He just says that 1,000 times.
Iran killed Americans with roadside bombs in Iraq, using cowardly proxies to do their dirty work while they hid safely in Tehran. They struck our embassies with car bombs and attacked from the shadows, never daring to face us toe-to-toe. They thought they could bleed America with impunity. Well, they just learned the hard way what happens when you try to fight us directly. And even when they got lucky, one time in 40 days, and down 2 of our pilots, they couldn't hold them. In a daring 14-hour rescue operation, 7 hours in daylight and 7 hours of night, both pilots were recovered safely. Not once, but twice. A daylight thunder run right up the middle of their country.
Thunder run.
Boots on the ground.
Thunder run.
A midnight raid right up the middle of their country.
Thunder run, midnight raid.
Boots on the ground.
Sounds like, kind of 80s movie or TV show or video game or...
0 American casualties. The Iranians humiliated and demoralized. We control their fate, not the other way around. That's why they came to the table. Iran's defeat is America's retribution for every American lost to Iranian terror, especially those brave troops killed by Iranian-made roadside bombs in Iraq that my generation knows so well, and for the suffering their regime has inflicted around the world. Now we have a chance at real peace and a real deal. The War Department, for now, has done its part. We stand ready in the background to ensure Iran upholds every reasonable term. And as everyone knows, nobody makes a better deal than President Trump.
It do be like that. Okay.
To the warriors of epic fury, I say well done. You're the backbone of our country. Your skill, your bravery, and sheer guts and grit showed the world what America is all about. I'm proud of you. We're proud of you. President is proud of you. Job well done. But stay vigilant and stay ready. To the families of our fallen, your sacrifice was in service of a historic cause, and we will always remember your heroes, our heroes. We will continue to honor them. And to our Israeli allies, thank you for being a brave, capable, and willing ally on this battlefield. The rest of the world and the rest of our so-called allies saw what real capabilities look like. They should take some notes. Our troops, our American warriors, deserve the credit for this day. But God deserves all the glory. Tens of thousands of sorties, refuelings, and strikes carried out under the protection of divine providence. A massive effort with miraculous protection. Dude 44 Bravo spoke for all of us. God is good.
On February 28th, the President of the United States ordered the Joint Force to execute Operation Epic Fury with the direction to accomplish 3 distinct military objectives: destroy Iran's ballistic missile and drone capabilities, destroy the Iranian Navy, and destroy their defense industrial base to ensure that Iran cannot reconstitute the ability to project power outside their borders. Over the course of 38 days of major combat operation, the Joint Force achieved the military objectives as defined by the President. We welcome the ongoing ceasefire, and as the Secretary said, we hope that Iran chooses a lasting peace. But as Secretary Hegseth said, let us be clear, a ceasefire is a pause, and the Joint Force remains ready if ordered or called upon to resume combat operations with the same speed and precision as we've demonstrated over the last 38 days, and we hope that that is not the case. I want to congratulate and thank the leadership today at U.S. Central Command, including the Commander Admiral Brad Cooper, the Deputy Commander Lieutenant General Kevin Leahy, the Senior Enlisted Leader Fleet Master Chief Compton, and every one of the component commanders, senior enlisted leaders, and especially the staff down at U.S. Central Command, who does not get called out for any of the credit, but grinds 24/7 to help offer the options that we bring to the Secretary and the President. I also want to highlight the forces in the United States European Command under the command of Alexis Grinkowicz, who protected the western flank in support of CENTCOM. And I want to thank our partners across the intelligence community. Our ability to see and understand what an adversary is doing help us to be as decisive as we must be on the battlefield. And that includes DIA, NSA, NGA, the CIA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, and others. I want to thank the other combatant commands who have thus far contributed along the way to U.S. Central Command. This includes Transcom, Stratcom, Spacecom, SOCOM, and Cybercom, all of whom poured all in support of CENTCOM's efforts. And I want to thank, as the Secretary did, our Gulf partners who fought alongside each and every one of us every day. From the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Jordan, all who joined us together to defend and protect our people and our assets, and who, if required, stand ready to do so again. And I want to thank my team at the Joint Staff who work literally around the clock in order to help me offer the options that I must with the associated risks to the Secretary and to the President. They are the hardest working people that I know, and I am deeply grateful for their service. Most importantly today, I want to thank America's members of the Joint Force who've poured everything that they can into Operation Epic Fury, and their families who've worked 24 hours a day for 38 days. The Secretary and I could not be more proud of each and every one of you. And we deeply appreciate the support of the American people, who we know always have us in our thoughts and prayers. And we can feel this literally every single day.
More from Kane here.
It does not truly capture that. I've laid out the statistics, but it does not truly capture the nature of combat. This is gritty and unforgiving business. It's chaotic, it's hot, it's dark, it's unpredictable, and there's always unknowns. And our people proudly walked into those unknowns and continue forward. And through it all, the Joint Force has demonstrated the unwavering resolve that the nation demands of us. We are a mission-focused force, and our objectives always is to create the conditions for peace, and today we have, while be ready should that peace break, which we hope it is not, and we remain ready. I've laid out the statistics, but
Okay.
Visit the rescue of the. I also want to quickly revisit the rescue of the Air Force fighter crew over the weekend.
Yeah, quite something. The what do they call it? Ghost murmur.
To give
that is some fascinating technology right there.
you an update, we.
Well, thank you, Donna. What is? The yakiniku, right? Yeah, still good. Yeah, it's still pretty good. So what do you miss up? Have to ask mommy. Yeah. Right. Oh, just the one's fun. Not that hungry. Thank you, honey. Whoa, good corn. Mmm. Oh. Oh, I love corn so much. Corn is delicious. Delicacy. When done right. Mmm. Nice and sweet. Just some salt and butter. Heck yeah. That is the business. All right, what's next? We're going to make sure Iran complies with the ceasefire. Well, oh well.
So we'll stay put, stay ready, stay vigilant, as the chairman laid out. Our troops are prepared to defend, prepared to go on offense, prepared to restart at a moment's notice with whatever target package would be needed in order to ensure that Iran complies. As far as the Strait, you saw the initial agreement that was struck, which is Iran's letting ships go through. So they'll be that will be happening. They will be sailing, and ultimately, as the president, I mean, we've done an incredible job militarily inside the Strait of Hormuz. What Admiral Cooper, I failed to mention Admiral Cooper's name. He's done a phenomenal job, along with everybody at AFCENT and NAVCENT and ARCENT and all the components down there, laying the groundwork for Iran. Iran doesn't have the same ability to defend it the way they did before, and so as the president has pointed out to the rest of the world, we barely get any of our energy out of the Strait. Just a tiny fraction. It's time for the rest of the world to step up and ensure that that stays open after President Trump and the War Department brought Iran to the place where they are voluntarily opening it right now, as was announced last night. Will be non-negotiable that they won't have nuclear capabilities. And so right now it's buried and we're watching it. We know exactly what they have, and they know that. And they will either give it to us, which the president has laid out. They'll give it to us voluntarily. We'll get it. We'll take it out. Or if we have to do something else ourselves, like we did in Midnight Hammer or something like that, we reserve that opportunity. But what's clear, what the new Iranian regime knows, is they'll never have a nuclear weapon or the capability to get a path to one. As far as the new regime, you heard the list that I read. It's a new group of people who've seen the full capability of the United States military and has a new calculus about what it means to negotiate with us, hence why they came to the table wanting a ceasefire and the shooting to stop. So this new regime, which the regime has been changed, has a different interaction with the U.S. It's always
Get out of here. Are you kidding? Get out. Killer of Irina Zarutska was found unfit for trial on state murder charges. Get out of here. What? I've got to see that. Got to be kidding me. This is from an hour ago.
Queen City News at 4 begins with breaking news on that deadly Blue Line stabbing in Charlotte. In that new court filing today, the lawyer for the suspect, Carlos Brown, says he has been found mentally incapable to proceed with that case. Want to get right to the Queen City News reporter Matt Stell, who joins us now. He's been covering that case for us here. And Matt, what are we learning about this filing?
Yeah, Brian, a lot of moving parts on this one, but Brown's attorney is essentially asking that they bring everything to a screeching halt right now for two big reasons. A Rule 24 hearing for DeCarlos Brown was set for the end of the month. That's when the state formally declares its intent to seek or not seek the death penalty. Brown's attorney is asking the court to postpone that hearing for up to 6 months because they believe their client is mentally incapable of standing trial. They point to a mental evaluation that Brown underwent at Central Regional Hospital back in December, and the evaluation found that Brown was, quote, incapable to proceed. His attorney also says that because Brown is facing federal charges in federal court for the murder of Irina Zarutska back in August, moving forward with a state trial
has created nonsense, man.
a, quote, logistical barrier because Brown is still in federal custody. Now, here's where things have to be clarified with this motion. Even if that Superior Court judge agrees to postpone the Rule 24 hearing, Brown would still have to go through a full competency hearing to find if he can truly stand trial. And Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Cleve Rhodes tells us we're still pretty far out from that.
Wow. Okay, Joint Chiefs Chairman Kane here lays out the objectives achieved by Operation Epic Fury.
The United States has devastated the regime's ability to harm Americans and our interests for years to come. Since the beginning of major combat operations, the United States Joint Force has struck more than 13,000 targets, including in that 13,000 more than 4,000 dynamic targets that popped up on the battlefield and were immediately addressed, thanks to the exceptional command and control system and intelligence, acumen, and agility of our Joint Force. CENTCOM forces destroyed approximately 80% of Iran's air defense systems, striking more than 1,500 air defense targets, more than 450 ballistic missile storage facilities, 800 one-way attack drones storage facilities. All of these systems are gone. We've devastated Iran's command and control and logistical networks, destroying more than 2,000 command and control nodes and degrading their ability to target U.S. and friendly forces. It is, and we know this, incredibly frustrating right now to be a lower-level Iranian commander trying to fight your fight. As the Secretary said, the Iranian Navy now lies mostly at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf, and we assess that we've sunk more than 90% of their regular fleet, including all of the major surface combatants, as the Secretary said. 150 ships are at the bottom of the ocean, and half of the IRGC Navy's small attack boats. Joint fires projected from the land, sea, and air executed more than 700 strikes against naval mine targets, and we had assessed that we destroyed more than 95% of their naval mines. And perhaps most importantly, we've destroyed Iran's defense industrial base, their ability to reconstitute those capabilities for years to come. We attacked, along with our partners, approximately 90% of their weapons factories. Every factory that produced Shahed one-way attack drones was struck. Every factory that produces the guidance systems that go into those drones was struck. Their missile defense industrial base is shattered, with more than 80% of their missile facilities gone, as well as their solid rocket motor production capability. It will take years for Iran to rebuild any major surface combatants, as more than 20 naval production and fabrication facilities have been damaged or destroyed, and nearly 80% of Iran's nuclear industrial base was hit, further degrading their attempts to attain a nuclear weapon. Throughout Operation Epic Fury, our joint force struck at the heart of Iran's ability to project power and threaten the United States and the region. And in order to do this, it required the service and sacrifice of more than 50,000 American warfighters deployed across CENTCOM, EUCOM, and stateside. The Joint Force flew more than 10,000 missions, including 62 bomber missions, 18 of which flew round trip from the United States to deliver bombs on military targets. Each of these missions was more than 30 hours in duration, and we did that 18 times. No other military in the world can do that. And it's a testament to the logistical force that quietly serves behind them. I cannot thank TRANSCOM and the Air Force Tanker and Mobility Force more. Combined with Army and Navy joint fires, we struck more than 13,000 targets. And along with our Gulf partners, we've thus far intercepted 1,700 ballistic missiles and one-way attack drones, defending our forces and our partners in the civilian population. And we remain ready to do so should the need arise. Along the way, we consume more than 6 million meals, and by my estimate, more than 950,000 gallons of coffee, 2 million energy drinks, and a lot of nicotine, but I am not saying that we have a problem.
Okay, then. Wow. Gonna have the Zins, I guess. I bet they run on Zins there. And coffee. In fact, I know some of the young people that work there. Various DC Young Republicans events and stuff. They run on that shit, man. Like you wouldn't believe. Official statement of Iran. This is from this afternoon. Right? A few hours back. Accepting the ceasefire. If attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. They say. There are some other funny moments where they very Middle Eastern. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, His Eminence, I think, HE, right? Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and His Eminence Field Marshal Munir for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of Prime Minister Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the United States for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces, capital P, capital A, capital F, will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Signed, Saeed Abbas Araghchi, Minister of Foreign Affairs. The alleged statement put out by CNN World News is a fraud. I don't know what this is referring to, and we'll find out. As CNN well knows, the false statement was linked to a fake news site from Nigeria. Oh no, they fell for Nigerian bullshit. Oh geez, God help them, and all of us. And of course, immediately picked up by CNN and blared out as a legitimate headline. The official statement by Iran was just released and posted on Truth Below. Authorities are looking to determine whether or not a crime was committed on the issuance of the fake CNN World statement, or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw the statement with full apologies for their, as usual, terrible reporting. Results of the investigation will be announced in the near future. So, again, I have no clue what happened here. I haven't seen any of this, but I do know from previous incidents where there's been like odd CNN branded fake news coming out of Africa. CNN has like these weird, like, I don't even know what you'd call it, but like franchises almost kind of in Africa. Like they lent their brand out basically to organizations, if I remember right, that operate under the CNN World or something name in Africa or certain countries, but they're completely independent of CNN. It's something goofy like that. If I'm remembering right, it's been probably a couple of years since I stumbled across that. Don't quote me on it, but I'm curious if it's that. It'd be very Africa, wouldn't it? No one can believe that fake news CNN put out a knowingly false and dangerous statement pretending it came from the upper levels of the Iranian government. So did actual CNN pick this up too? It didn't. It was totally made up and posted as a headline for purpose of perhaps inflaming a very delicate situation. Oh yeah, there are a lot of people that desperately want this to blow up for all kinds of reasons. depending on who it is. All kinds of people want this to go very, very badly. In some cases, just to make Trump look bad. In some cases, to fuck over America, make us look bad. In some cases, just to benefit from the chaos. In some cases, God, any number, dozens of other reasons. A lot of people want this to go sour. Definitely got quite a pickle on his hands. There's a new troublemaking site from Nigeria, and CNN just got caught cheating, a very dangerous thing to do. Big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. I expect they have, but they have to do, again, the typical Middle Eastern-y kind of thing of putting on a show of force and bluster and establishing a bravado and sort of alpha position in the region and amongst their fellow countrymen. They've got to establish like a kind of firm, where we really stood up to them, and that kind of thing. What's next? United States will work closely with Iran. This is when? Early this morning. We'll work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through with what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium. Must have been part of the apparent alleged agreement. And the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried nuclear dust, by stuff that was buried by the B-2 missions, is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance by Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of the attack. We are and will be taking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Country supplying military weapons to Iran, a country, clearly know who, will be immediately tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of America, 50% effective immediately. There will be no exclusions or exemptions. I don't know if that is... Yeah, actually, I don't know if that's like pointing the finger at a specific country or just stating outright, like, hey, any country that does this from here forward, you're going to get hit. I don't know. Numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out. When was this? About noon today. Are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the USA and Iran negotiation. And in many cases, they're total fraudsters, charlatans, and worse. I wonder who that's talking about. They will be rapidly exposed after our federal investigation is completed. Ooh, yikes. There is only one group of meaningful points that are acceptable to the United States, and we will be discussing them behind closed doors during these negotiations. These are the points, again in all caps, that are the basis on which we agreed to the ceasefire. It is something that is reasonable and can easily be dispensed with. It's very much like fake news CNN last night, headlining a source, quote unquote, that had no power or authority to write a letter claiming great authority. Again, I wonder what that's referring to. See if we can find out. Back to that. Nice, it pops out on the side like that. Breaking, Iran shuts down the Strait of Hormuz. State media says.
bombing Hezbollah in Lebanon. And as you mentioned a moment ago, breaking right now, Iranian state media says Iran is closing the Strait of Hormuz again in response. So I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, I take it that threat is not going to go over well with President Trump.
Yeah, we've got the latest on the market movement because the markets are tracking all of this. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. So, John, this is America Reports, and President Trump is telling the New York Post top officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, could be heading to Pakistan for talks very soon.
Bombing has.
Okay, let's see what Grok said here. Excuse me. Trump is referring to the leaked/publicized version of Iran's 10-point proposal or similar circulating agreements, lists, and letters related to the just announced ceasefire. So I guess they put out some alleged version that was not the actual version, apparently. Okay. The White House has clarified that Iran's initial 10-point plan was unserious and discarded. A modified later version was viewed as workable and somewhat aligned with the U.S.'s own 15-point proposal. The publicly leaked, widely reported by Iranian media like Mehr and picked up by CNN, does not reflect the actual negotiated points Trump is referring to. Okay.
Her former boyfriend,
Niece of slain Iranian General Soleimani, just begged her ex-boyfriend to help her escape the ICE facility. Oh, wow. What a genius. What a freaking genius this one is.
reportedly called her former boyfriend for help to escape the facility. But according to the New York Post, he declined the call, saying this, quote, "I don't want..."
What, did she leave a voicemail? What a winner that... Wow.
...anything to do with her. She scares me. I was so afraid of her. She knows how to make herself seem like an angel, and you feel like the devil. She takes advantage of every man she knows.
Oh, she looks like one of those, for sure. For sure.
Now, another man, a Los Angeles hairdresser, said this about the situation. Thank God after hearing of her arrest by ICE. He said that's good. She's a stalker. In court filings, he said the woman subjected him to emotional abuse, harassment, and that she threatened to hurt herself.
Oh, yeah, she's one of those.
All of this highlighting a tale of two Irans. Ordinary Iranians facing crackdowns and execution. Reportedly.
Wow. Interesting, Steph. Wow. Let me jump to that real quick. Sounds like the FBI has just arrested a former U.S. Southern Command employee who was leaking classified info to the press. Wow, yeah, SOCOM employee who supported our top-level military warfighters for allegedly transmitting classified info to a member of the media. Oh, man. Wonder who. Interesting. Wonder which media. Okay, moments ago, 5 hours back.
Discussing these. The statement is going to be key ahead of this, where the president says the U.S. will be discussing these talks with Iran only behind closed doors during these negotiations, and he's basically criticizing these lists that are floating around between the Iranians and
Rudy Giuliani drops a bombshell on New York City under Mamdani. 7,000 to 10,000 violent criminals walking free today who would be behind bars under Giuliani or Bloomberg's leadership, or probably anyone else at this point.
One way to visualize it is there is somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000, 9,000 people walking the streets of the city of New York today that would be sitting in jail if I were the mayor or Bloomberg were the mayor. And I'm talking about violent criminals.
Well, like we had the illegal migrant the other day, multiple, huge rap sheet, throws an 83-year-old veteran in front of the subway and he dies 9 days.
That was, yeah, I saw that one. That was fucked up.
Later. You know, why is he on the street?
If he had been on the street when I was mayor or Mike was, it would have been just a total mistake. And when I was U.S. attorney, those are exactly the guys that Koch used to like to grab. One way to visualize it is there is somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000 people walking the streets of the city of New York today that would be sitting in jail if I were the mayor or Bloomberg were the mayor. And I'm talking about violent criminals.
Well, like we had the illegal.
Wow.
At around 90.
Oil prices back down. Back down they go. I'm sure they're going straight back up after everything, took a dive again.
It is trading at around $90 today after closing near 110 yesterday, a drop of by more than 15%.
This is a big deal. One of the reasons, Dagan, you're seeing the oil price tumbling is because Trump has made it very clear that one key provision that has to be agreed to by the Iranians is to open up the strait. Very good news for all of us.
Markets also reacting very positively. The Dow up more than 1,100 points right now. Lauren Samedi with the latest for us. Lauren.
Good morning, Harris. So the conflict's de-escalation directly linked to the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian media reporting, as Trey brought to you, that tanker passage has stopped. But we can tell you that these two tankers did cross after the...
It is trading at around $90 today after closing near 110 yesterday, a drop of by more than 15%.
Lawrence O'Donnell breathlessly offended that Pete Hegseth's statement that we leave no man behind is offensive to women. Oh, Lawrence, stop the hammering.
That brilliant rescue was described by the Secretary of Defense and by General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as a long-standing American military rule of never leaving anyone behind.
We leave no man behind.
That is, of course, the old school version of the idea back when only men flew American military planes. General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, put it this way.
We leave no one behind.
The general knows, unlike Pete Hegseth, that could have been a woman they were trying to rescue, and it might be a woman the next time. That brilliant rescue was described by the Secretary of Defense and by General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as a long-standing American military rule of never leaving anyone behind.
Oh my gosh. Really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Oh god. Leftist Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger just ran away, silent, I'm sure, when asked if she will finally hand over violent, dangerous illegal aliens to DHS. She won't.
He says 3 out of every 4 people arrested in Fairfax County are illegal aliens. They're asking
the story's coming out of here lately. Just terrible.
You to discontinue sanctuary city policies. Any comment along those lines? Governor? Governor, any comment on the DHS request?
Well, she dodged, and here is exactly what DHS is requesting. Of the 4 defendants in Fairfax County murder trials this year, 3 are illegal aliens. Governor Spanberger must end her sanctuary policies that allow these illegal aliens onto our streets and work with DHS to protect the citizens of the Commonwealth. Well, look at what she's overseeing. Beyond this year, 7 illegal immigrants have been linked to 13 killings in Fairfax County. So she lives there. She has to have known before she took office that this was coming.
He says 3 out of every 4 people arrested in Fairfax County are illegal aliens. They're asking you to discontinue sanctuary city policies. Any comment along those lines? Governor? Governor, any comment on the DHS request?
Well, she dodged, and here is exactly what DHS is requesting. Of the 4 defendants in Fairfax County murder trials this year, 3 are illegal.
Oh, sorry, that looped. My bad.
We start with breaking news. State media reports that Iran has halted the passage of oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, so there we go. This is 6 hours ago.
After Israeli attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Earlier today, we know 2 vessels were able to go through this passageway. But again, state media is reporting that the Iranians are choking off the strait. I just got off the phone with a senior Israeli official who was sounding the alarm about this action by the Iranians, saying only just a few hours into this ceasefire, the Iranians are already showing that they are trying to leverage their control over the strait and put pressure on global energy trade. And it also comes after reports overnight indicate that an Iranian attack hit Saudi Arabia's east to west oil pipeline. And there was significant damage that was currently being assessed. This is important because this pipeline is the only outlet for Saudi crude exports. And as the Iranians are putting pressure on the strait, they once again are trying to leverage this ability to put pressure on global energy exports. It comes after we got a new statement from President Trump this morning about Iran's nuclear program. The president on Truth Social said the United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what they will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried nuclear dust. The president referring to Iran's enriched uranium there. And again, a lot of moving parts with this agreement that is very new. We saw overnight new strikes against Iranian oil infrastructure on Lavan Island. This is just off the coast of Iran. A refinery there was Good morning.
Vance with Orban.
I do think there are good developments here. And let me just say a few things. First of all, what the president set out to do was decimate the Iranian military, decimate their ability to wage conventional war. And that military objective, as the president said yesterday, as I said yesterday, has been achieved. And because of that, what the president did is he basically issued an ultimatum to the Iranians. He said, open up the straits, stop trying to hold the world's economy hostage, and we'll engage in a ceasefire. And that's exactly the agreement that we came to last night. The Iranians have agreed to open up the straits. The United States has agreed to stop attacking. And that, and not just the United States, but also our allies, have agreed to stop attacking. And that is the basis of this fragile truce that we have, which is now, 8 to 12 hours old. Now, here's what I'll say about this. I've learned a lot about the Iranian system and a lot about the way the Iranians negotiate, because the president told me last night the Iranians are better negotiators than they are fighters. I'm sure they don't like to hear that, but it's true. But here's a couple things. So, one, just in the response that we've seen from various segments of Iran, you have on the one hand people within Iran who have responded very favorably. The foreign minister who said, look, we agreed to the United States' terms. We'll do a ceasefire. We'll do a negotiation. We'll open the Straits of Hormuz, and then we'll see if we can come to more agreement down the road. So some of the people have responded favorably and have said the right things. And then you have some people on social media within their system who are basically lying about what we've accomplished militarily. They're lying about the nature of the agreement. They're lying about the nature of the ceasefire. And so you have just, even within their system, and this is why I say this is a fragile truce, you have people who clearly want to come to the negotiating table and work with us to find a good deal. And then you have people who are lying about even the fragile truce that we've already struck. And that's just an interesting thing about their system. And the final point that I'll say about this is the President of the United States has told me, and he's told the entire negotiating team, the Secretary of State, the Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff, he said, go and work in good faith to come to an agreement. That is what he has told us to do. If the Iranians are willing in good faith to work with us, I think we can make an agreement. If they're going to lie, if they're going to cheat, if they're going to try to prevent even the fragile truce that we've set up from taking place, then they're not going to be happy. Because what the president has also shown is that we still have clear military, diplomatic, and maybe most importantly, we have extraordinary economic leverage. So the president has told us not to use those tools. He's told us to come to the negotiating table. But if the Iranians don't do the exact same thing, they're going to find out that the President of the United States is not one to mess around. He's impatient. He's impatient to make progress. He has told us to negotiate in good faith, and I think if they negotiate in good faith, we will be able to find a deal. But that's a big if, and ultimately it's up to the Iranians how they negotiate. I hope they make the right decision.
Foreign influence.
I wasn't even aware that Zelensky had said that he was going to send private soldiers to the prime minister's residence.
What?
Until yesterday. Victor actually told me that, and then I went and looked it
That's
up.
insane. What?
Almost couldn't believe it's true, but it's true. That's completely scandalous. You should never have a foreign head of government or a foreign head of state threatening the head of government of an allied nation. It's preposterous. It's unacceptable. And what I find so interesting about, there's a lot of conversation about foreign influence in our elections. So you saw this back in 2016, where a lot of the American media said that it was a true scandal that the Russian government bought like $500,000 of Facebook advertisements during the 2016 campaign. And for what it's worth, I don't want Russia involved in our elections in the same way that I'm sure you don't want any other country involved in your elections. I've also been told that the Vice President of the United States coming and saying that Viktor Orban is doing a good job and is a helpful statesman to the cause of peace, that's foreign influence. But what's not foreign influence is when the European Union threatens billions of dollars withheld from Hungary because you guys protect your borders. That's apparently not foreign influence. What's not foreign influence is when the Ukrainians shut down pipelines, causing suffering among the Hungarian people in an effort to influence an election. That's allegedly not foreign influence. It doesn't pass the smell test. Foreign influence is when other governments threaten, cajole, and try to use economic influence to tell you how to vote. And that, to the Hungarian people, whether you like Viktor Orban or not, whether you agree with this or that policy, that is fundamentally an assault on your sovereignty. You know what I have never done, even though we have, of course, a lot of economic power in the United States of America. We are the economic and military superpower of the world. We have never threatened Hungary, saying, if you don't vote for Viktor Orban, you're not going to get this and this. We would never do that because we respect the Hungarian people enough to respect their sovereignty. The fact that so many foreign actors, whether they're transnational organizations like the bureaucrats in Brussels, or whether it's foreign governments, are literally threatening the Hungarian people, vote this way or we're going to exact our revenge on you, that should make you very angry. You should vote against that for the simple reason that you are sovereign in this country. One of the coolest things about my visit is, late yesterday when it was closed down, we went and saw the crown of St. Stephen in the Parliament. And I love the symbolism of this, of course, because it's one of the oldest, maybe the oldest surviving crown that exists in Western civilization, but it's there at the center of the parliamentary building. What does that mean? That means that sovereignty rests with the Hungarian people. The people are sovereign in Hungary. But for that to be true, the Hungarian people have to reject these foreign influence operations, vote for who they want to be their leader, reject the Brussels bureaucrats.
Yeah, just hours after agreeing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is again blocking ships from passing through the waterway, blaming it on Israel striking Lebanon, which they did, escalating tensions again. Ridiculous. Just don't quit. Do it. Until it does, which it will eventually. There are now even more relatives of Iranian Islamic regime insiders being found living in the lap of luxury here in the U.S. Rubio looking to revoke visas for currently 3,000 to 4,000 Iranian elites in the country now. Several of them are teachers and professors.
even killed for showing their hair. And then you've got relatives of Iran's power players here in the U.S. acting like the Kardashians. Yesterday, we told you about the niece and great-niece of slain General Qasem Soleimani flaunting their lavish life.
So insane that like, mind-blowing.
Here on U.S. soil. Their visas are now getting revoked. Now we're learning about other relatives of other top Iranian leaders teaching American students here in our homeland. The New York Post reports that Isa Hashemi, Isa as in Jesus, the Arabic for Jesus, is the son of Iranian insider Masumeh Ebtekar, and he's living in L.A., allegedly teaching there. His mom, known as Screaming Mary, was a spokeswoman for the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis. We all remember that. Fox has reached out twice to him but got no response, despite Isa's name still being on the website for the Chicago school. It's where he teaches. Meanwhile, Layla Khatami, the daughter of a former Iranian president, is a professor at Union College. And
wow.
Another Iranian leader's daughter was an assistant professor at Emory until that school terminated her. Katie Miller says that the president and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, are now looking to revoke visas for 3,000 to 4,000 Iranian elites in the U.S.
It's the hypocrisy of the regime. You know, their children and offsprings are flaunting their sometimes luxurious lives and a life against a comfortable, free society with economic opportunities, all the while that in Iran people are deprived of all of that.
And remember, Sandra, this isn't because they're just related to the Iranian leaders. Thousands of Iranians are here on asylum. It's not asylum, though, if you're going back and forth from U.S. and Iran without any fear from the regime.
Wow.
Sandra?
Aisha Hasni reporting live out of Washington for us. Thank you. John.
All right, Sandra, now to talk.
Take It Down Act. I don't know what this one is.
Big win for Melania Trump as the first conviction under her Take It Down Act has been handed down. James Strawler, the second, pled guilty to cyberstalking and using AI to create obscene images of adults and children. Prosecutors say he used more than 24 platforms and over 100 models to harass victims online. Here's what the First Lady posted on X yesterday. Today marks the first conviction under the Take It Down Act, protecting victims from non-consensual AI-generated sexually explicit images, cyberstalking, and threats of violence. Thank you, U.S. Attorney Dominic S. Gerace II, for protecting Americans from cybercrimes in this new digital age. Now, the First Lady signed the Take It Down Act with President Trump in May of 2025 to prosecute offenders posting non-consensual online content, including AI-generated images. And Kaylee, what was distinct about this is not only to prosecute with criminal penalties, but also to force the takedown, which prior to now, the patchwork of laws didn't cover both at the same time. And many of them, it left incumbent upon the victim to get that material down. Enter the First Lady, and she says, no more, not on my watch. And now we see it working.
That was exactly where my mind is at. Technology changes fast. Law does not. Our legislatures do not often get their act together to do just about anything, as we can see during this 2-week recess. But it took First Lady Melania Trump coming in and saying, AI is on the horizon. It has changed. Our laws need to change. She personally went on Capitol Hill and advocated for this, and it crossed the finish line. And now we have prosecutions that otherwise wouldn't be there because the law simply would not exist because Congress is so slow. But she's also working on AI in classrooms for children. And I just think it's very impressive to have a First Lady who's thinking through these issues on just a broad scale. How does AI affect crime? How is it going to affect our young people? Let's get on top of this and ahead of this now. It's a great initiative, one that created a lot of thought, and now we're seeing the payoffs.
You know, Griff, in speaking with an attorney, we were talking about how, you know, growing up, we weren't in the internet and photography age, and I was making a comment, oh, yeah, you know, there's no photos of me out there, you know, doing anything like that. And she goes, oh, there are. Oh, there are. And her point was that if you are in any way in the public eye at all, that there are AI-generated horrific photos of you. And the thought of it affecting children as well now, which it was in the millions, by the way, the millions of images and each metadata distinct, you know, I don't know what it's called, distinct like identity. Right. Now the First Lady has come in despite the challenges of our legislature and gotten it done.
Look, I am the father of 2 daughters in their 20s. That's the digital age. I mean, this is a horrific, widespread problem. I think a little bit to Kaylee's point,
Yes.
You know, often it's been said the measure of leadership success, Emily,
I'm sorry, I'll shut the bot up in a second.
is what a leader chose to do with their platform. And in this case, this platform, going to Congress, lobbying for herself, using her megaphone, you're now...
Oh, boy. He's busy. Oh, boy. All right. Give me a second. I got to shut him up. Let me spin up his other one here. Busy. Okay, let's see. Lane 2. Good. Okay. Let's quiet him down here. Right. There it is. Okay, you should pipe down now.
Seeing this one prosecution, but you can bet there's going to be a lot more, because the faster technology moves, the more prevalent things like this become. And in many cases, I don't know in his case if he was profiting a lot or whether it was just harassment, but there are others that are seeking to profit off of it.
Right, and this is the First Lady to remind listeners or viewers that had a direct substantive effect on an EO.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think she signed it. He said, do you want to also sign this executive order? And she bent down and added her signature to it on that day. You know, I think it's a really important part about the AI in the classrooms for all of this, too, because we talk about the victimization of young people, but they also need to learn about what their own powers are. And education is that. So if you can get your mind around and you kind of understand the new chapters and generations of artificial intelligence, then you'll be quick to take down. I mean, the law has armed, you know, everybody as victims now with more behind the actual entities taking it down and those platforms taking it down. But you, too, can know how to do that on your own. It used to be, well, you're left as a victim, as you put it, but nobody knew really how to do that. Well, now with AI in the classrooms, that's one more tool, not to mention the fact that for, you know, their future education and jobs and all of that, it's a good thing. She's got her mind around a lot. She loves the future, apparently, and we love that.
Also, it's a big reminder to talk to your children, as we all learn and the AI develops, to know that if a child is ever approached with anything like this, to know that you can go to the adult in your life that you trust and tell them something. I mean, one of these instances, I believe, the faces of the girls were put on AI generated or real pictures of bodies, and then sent to the mothers and said, you know, now you need to send me nude photos or else I'll circulate these. I mean, it runs very deep and it's very dangerous, and kids need to know that this is happening.
Indeed. And now
Jeez, man, that's disgusting. The big win for First Lady Melania Trump. The Take It Down Act secured its first criminal conviction. Here we go.
Today marked the very first conviction under the Take It Down Act, landmark legislation that First Lady Melania Trump played an instrumental role in getting passed, that protects victims from non-consensual AI-generated sexually explicit images, cyber stalking, and threats of violence. This is a huge achievement for the First Lady, and I know the President is very proud of his wife's efforts in getting this critical legislation passed to protect America's youth. So we thank the First Lady for her efforts. Today marked the very first conviction under the Take It Victory.
Carolyn Levitt takes huge victory lap in the jaw-dropping defeat of Iran. All right.
For the United States of America that the President and our incredible military made happen. From the very beginning of Operation Epic Fury, President Trump stated this would be a 4 to 6 week military operation to dismantle the military threat posed by the radical Islamic Iranian regime. Thanks to the unbelievable capabilities of America's war fighters, the United States has achieved and exceeded those core military objectives in just 38 days. The U.S. military destroyed Iran's defense industrial base, crushing the regime's ability to manufacture weapons that they and their proxies use to maim and kill Americans and terrorize the world. Iran's ability to build and stockpile ballistic missiles and long-range drones has also been set back by years compared to where it was 6 weeks ago prior to the launch of Operation Epic Fury. We destroyed the vast majority of Iran's ballistic missiles, launcher vehicles, and long-range attack drones through more than 450 strikes on ballistic missiles and approximately 800 strikes on Iran's drone launching units and storage facilities. In total, more than 13,000 targets across Iran were struck. Again, this is in the matter of just 38 days. Meanwhile, the Iranian Navy was completely annihilated. The United States destroyed more than 150 naval vessels in total, including 16 entire classes of Iranian warships. Despite once being the largest undersea force in the Middle East, Iran now has 0 submarine vessels. 97% of Iran's once massive inventory of more than 5,000 naval mines has also been targeted and destroyed. Iran's air forces are functionally and operationally irrelevant at this point, after the United States maintained total air dominance over their country for weeks on end. To underscore the significance of this, before Operation Epic Fury, the Iranian Air Force would fly between 30 to 100 flights per day. Today, that number is 0. Iran's ability to fund and support its terrorist proxies has been greatly reduced. At this point, Iran can no longer distribute weapons to its proxies in the region. And most importantly, Iran will not be able to acquire nuclear weapons. Prior to the start of this successful operation, Iran was aggressively expanding its short-range ballistic missile arsenal. Through these weapons and its navy, Iran was attempting to build a military buildup around their country that would pose an imminent and existential threat to the United States military assets in the Middle East. The media against running with narratives. I would strongly advise the media against running with narratives that have no basis in fact. What Iran says publicly or feeds to all of you in the press is much different than what they communicate to the United States, the president, and his team privately. Never underestimate President Trump's ability to successfully advance America's interests and broker peace. I would strongly advise the media.
People really ought to remember the recent history here. Come on. Carolyn Levitt scorns fake news to their faces. Let's see.
I would strongly advise the media against.
Oh, I just saw that.
That Iran has now closed off the Strait of Hormuz today in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. What's the White House response to that? And you just listed many military successes. I understand that. But strategically, how is the administration arguing that Iran does not have more economic leverage than it did before the start of the war?
Sure. Well, with respect to the first reporting out of Iranian state media, the president was made aware of those reports before I came to the podium. That is completely unacceptable. And again, this is a case of what they're saying publicly is different privately. We have seen an uptick of traffic in the Strait today, and I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely. That is his expectation. It has been relayed to him privately that is what's taking place, and these reports publicly are false.
Caroline, the president yesterday in the media is saying that Iran has now closed off the Strait of Hormuz today in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. What's
Thanks, Caroline. Would President Trump like to see Lebanon included in this peace deal? Because as you know, there have been increased Israeli strikes on Lebanon today with dozens of casualties there.
Sure. Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire. That has been relayed to all parties involved in the ceasefire. As you know, Prime Minister Netanyahu put out a statement last night in support of the ceasefire, in support of the United States' efforts, and he's also assured the president they'll continue to be a helpful partner throughout the course of the next 2 weeks.
Is there
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Would President Trump like to see Lebanon included in this peace deal? Because as you know, there have been increased
Islamabad on Friday.
I can announce
in talks with Iran and Islamabad on Friday?
I can announce that the president is dispatching his negotiating team, led by the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Witkoff, and Mr. Kushner to Islamabad for talks this weekend. The first round of those talks will take place on Saturday morning local time, and we look forward to those in-person meetings.
Now, what role does the president see for the U.S. in monitoring or helping with the Strait of Hormuz going forward?
I think the president commented on that this morning.
Been a moral leader for most of its history by fighting wars against other governments, not against civilizations. How can the president claim that America can ever have the moral high ground if he's threatening to destroy civilizations and not casting wars as fights against other governments?
Andrew, I think you should take a look at the actions of this president over the course of the past 6 weeks and the actions of our brave men and women in our United States military who have taken out essentially taken out the military of a rogue Islamic regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years, that has killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers over the course of the last 5 decades. The president absolutely has the moral high ground over the Iranian terrorist regime, and for you to even suggest otherwise is frankly insulting.
With all due respect, Caroline,
Go ahead.
with all due respect,
go ahead.
There is
just given what we've
U.S.
Shut down. All right.
from Israel. I mean, is there any concern that Netanyahu is trying to kill the ceasefire?
Probably.
The president spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu last night.
Netanyahu is trying to kill the ceasefire.
The president spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu last night. And in that private conversation, Prime Minister Netanyahu relayed exactly what he said to the world publicly, that he supports the president and Israel remains a key ally and partner to the United States. They've been a tremendous partner over the course of the past 6 weeks, and we thank them for their heroic efforts as well. And the president had that conversation last night, and that was relayed to the world publicly as well. Reagan, go ahead.
Okay.
War with Iran and Israel last year. It takes time. The 12-day war with
We have no idea what the question is here, but
Iran and Israel last year. It takes time sometimes for these ceasefires to be fully effectuated. And one of the results of Operation Epic Fury was we completely dismantled Iran's command and control center, which makes it difficult for them to pass messages up and down the chain. And so we understand that. I would caution a little bit of patience, but of course we want to see the ceasefire effectuated and abided by all parties as quickly as possible.
Thank you. And the American presidential.
The 12-day war with Iran and Israel last year. It takes time sometimes for these ceasefires to be fully effectuated. And one of the results of Operation Epic Fury was we completely dismantled Iran's command and control center, which makes it difficult for them to pass messages up and I will share it with all of you. They were tested and they failed. And I would add, it's quite sad that NATO turned their backs on the American people over the course of the last 6 weeks when it's the American people who have been funding their defense. As you know, President Trump will be meeting with Secretary Ruta in a couple of hours here at the White House, and I know he looks forward to having a very frank and candid conversation with him.
He's apparently been there for 2 hours now, meeting with Trump and counting. Okay, 1 sec. Very good. Okay.
With respect to China.
Come on now.
Well, Vice President Vance has played a very significant and a key role in this since the very beginning. Of course, he's the president's right-hand man. He is the vice president of the United States. He's been involved in all of these discussions, and as I just announced, he'll be leading this new phase of negotiations in Islamabad later this week. With respect to China, there were conversations that took place between top levels of our government and China's government. The president has great respect for President Xi and a great working relationship with him and with that country, and he looks forward to visiting China in just a few weeks. Well, Vice President Vance has played a very significant and a key role.
Okay. All right, one moment. All right.
And on NATO.
All Trump is going to discuss possibly leaving NATO with Mark Rutte today. No wonder the meeting's going so long. Ooh.
Question.
Thank you, Caroline. On NATO, can you tell me, is the United States still considering withdrawing from NATO? Is that still a possibility?
It's something the president has discussed, and I think it's something the president will be discussing in a couple of hours with Secretary General Rutte, and perhaps you'll hear directly from the president following that meeting later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Question. Go ahead.
Oh, that was it for the day. Interesting. Come on. There we are.
That we've definitively.
A quick follow-up on the attorney. Why would the U.S.
Allow Iran to collect tolls?
Allow Iran to collect tolls from the Strait of Hormuz? That's not something that we've opposed for a number of years now.
Again, that's not something we've said that we've definitively accepted. The joint venture is something that was proposed by the president, but he was very clear in his statement last night. He wants to see the strait reopened immediately without limitation, and that's something we're going to hold them to.
And second question, a quick follow-up on the attorney. Why would the U.S. allow Iran to collect tolls from the Strait of Hormuz?
We saw that one. All right. Markwayne Mullin, DHS Secretary, newly minted, said Tuesday that he's considering ending the processing of international travelers through sanctuary cities. Interesting.
We start looking at sanctuary cities, as I said, if they're not enforcing immigration laws, then why would I be processing immigration in their city and turn them loose in their city?
But have they been screened at that juncture if they're being released by Customs and
to some degree, but we at Customs and Border Patrol, Port of Entries, we catch people every day, constantly, and we rely on local law enforcement sometimes to hold those individuals. We got to have cooperation to some degree. And so, like I said, this is just something we're talking about because I have to prioritize, as I said, my Customs and Border Patrol since they're not being funded, and the Democrats are wanting to defund them. And it's an option. All options are on the table right now. When we start looking at trying to streamline and make DHS more efficient, I'm looking at every aspect. What is it that we can do? Where are we wasting dollars? And then I'll be real honest with you. I don't think sanctuary cities are legal. We are a nation of laws. As a Secretary of DHS, I don't get to pick and choose which laws I'm going to enforce. Congress passes those. And for my Democrat colleagues that are working in the Senate, and I guess not my colleagues anymore, your colleagues, for the Democrats that are in the House and in the Senate, if you don't like the laws, then change it. Don't punish Customs and Border Patrol and ICE agents that we hired to do the job that you pass the laws for them to enforce. But if cities are going to sit there and say that they're not going to enforce immigration policies, then I'll repeat myself and say it doesn't make any sense for us to process international travelers through that city anymore.
Pretty easy, pretty simple. There are no plans as yet to bar the rapper known as Kanye West, formerly also known now as Ye, from the Netherlands. The minister said Wednesday, after Britain did ban him. Did they really? Wow. Trump sending VP to Pakistan for Iran talks on Saturday. Off he goes. Really? Now we have a Senator Kennedy, or a Secretary Kennedy podcast?
For decades now, Americans have been told that we should trust the system, but our children are sicker, chronic diseases exploding, and
interesting.
The answers that we've been given aren't working. Many of us have come to think.
Could be. I mean, depending on what he does with it, could be a pretty worthwhile watch. Could also be total slop. Who knows?
conclusion that government actually lies to us. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. This podcast is about telling the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. I'm going to have fearless conversations with critical thinkers, including independent doctors, respected scientists, and leaders in medical innovation and research. I'm going to ask the questions and lift the taboos and expose the hypocrisy and the conflicts and the corruption. We're going to follow the evidence wherever it leads, and we're going to name the names of the forces that obstruct the paths to public health. This isn't going to be about politics. It's about our families, it's about our children, and it's about confronting the spiritual malaise and embracing the truth. If we want a healthy nation, we have to confront the lies that have made us spiritually, morally, and physically sick. The time for half measures is now over. We're launching a new era of radical transparency in government here at HHS. I hope you'll join us in our mission to make America healthy again.
Chuck Schumer can barely get through his talking points about Iran. What?
The bottom line is that Iran still has its nuclear stockpile.
Sloppy Chuck.
Its nuclear ambitions. Iran still has its nuclear stockpile. Its nuclear ambitions are still unchecked, if not accelerated. And finally, American credibility. The nations of the world are furious at Trump. The Europeans, the Asians, even the Middle Eastern allies.
The Asians.
They say, what the hell is he doing?
Is that what they say?
And the United States' diplomatic position and credibility in the world is dramatically worse because of this war. So just in summary, this war has made us worse off today than before it started. The war made us worse in terms of control of the Strait of Hormuz. The war made us worse in terms of the strength of the Iranian regime. The war made us worse in terms of high gas prices. The war made us worse because Iran's nuclear ambitions have been unchecked. And the war made us worse because American credibility is down the drain.
Nice try, Chucky.
Driver's license exam.
Florida to become the first state to give driver's license exams in English only. Thank God. Blows my mind that that ever stopped being a thing.
Florida is becoming the first state to only give their driver's license exams in English. It was just announced that starting on Friday in the state of Florida, all DMV tests, including those for 18-wheeler licenses, are going to be administered in English only, and you will not be able to bring a translator. This includes all printed exams in Spanish, Haitian Creole, and other languages will be completely removed. You are only going to be able to read, write, and understand English if you want to get a license in the state of Florida.
Yes. Yes.
Florida
More of that. More of that, please. White House memeing about panicins. Oh, boy. New York City voters are shocked as Zohran Mamdani confirms he will be moving forward with his campaign promise to tax white people at higher rates to alleviate burdens on black people. The wealth of a white household in the city is apparently $200,000. Never mind the fact that sometimes white people are poor and don't have households with a wealth totaling $200,000. In fact, like the complete opposite of that. While that of a black is $20,000. Oh, wonder why that is. I wonder what it could be. I wonder why they have the troubles that they have.
The inequities in this city, the racial...
Couldn't be self-made troubles, could they? No. Clearly systemic racism.
inequities are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in the city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it. The inequities in this city, the
Wow. The administration will shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods, especially the whiter part. Yep. New York City Child Care Services, meanwhile, paying $165,000. Oh, $165,333, pardon, per child, per migrant child, per year.
Our first stop is the BWI preschool, where in 2021 they got 12.4 million taxpayer dollars.
But hey, you guys, white people, tax the white, tax whitey, tax whitey,
while being licensed to only take care.
And you know what? You know what? Fuck him. Let's tax whitey again, and then just give the money to Huahwang for 15 school-age children.
15 children,
aka reparations. Never mind that they're Asian.
Assuming they're at full capacity every single weekday, that's 636 taxpayer dollars per child per day. Now, that'd be one thing if they were U.S. citizens, but look what happened when I went to ask about that. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show.
Hi, how you doing? I'm making a video for Instagram about some recent announcement from Mamdani and AOC. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions about it? You're totally fine. Hi, is someone coming?
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good, how are you? Go ahead.
So what's your question?
Hi, Huang.
My question is, do you check for documentation?
We do our registration.
Yeah, so well, you see,
according to DOE requirement.
And does DOE require green card or citizenship or anything like that?
For school, they don't.
For school, they don't?
No.
So if somebody is applying, both you have documented and undocumented, is any priority given to the documented person or no? Not at all?
No.
Got it, understood. And have you seen a lot more traffic in the last couple of years? 3-4 years? Has there been an increase in the amount of kids being enrolled?
No.
No?
I mean,
about the same enrollment. Okay, but then why, when I go on New York City's spending database, do I see that they got $12.4 million just for the last 5 years, but then I see that from 2017 to 2021, they only got $5.5 million. Enrollment stayed the same, but the budget doubled.
For the folks that don't speak English, are there babysitters or teachers that speak Spanish here?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. Not only Spanish, we have Chinese speaking, we have Bengali speaking. We try to, when we lose that, we try to accommodate different needs. Yeah.
So if the child only speaks English, how does that work? Are they able to get special attention from a teacher who speaks English to them, or how does it work?
Oh, I mean, they are all 3 and 4 years old. We give same attention to everybody.
Right, same attention, but I'm saying, like, if they only speak English, can they understand what's being said if they're speaking Spanish and Bengali? Like, how does it work?
Most of the time they get used to it, because even though when they're playing together with their friends, one speaks Spanish, the other one Bengali. I don't know how they understand each other, but kids, wise, yeah. Because on this age, when child need help, for example, they don't understand what the teacher asks after they draw a picture. So we want to know what he's drawing. And then we ask, if the child cannot explain, we ask some other staff who speak the same language to explain.
I see. Wow, so you have to have, how many different languages do you have on staff?
Is it 4 here?
Yeah, Filipino,
Chinese, and Bengali. 4.
Filipino, Chinese, Bengali, and In Spanish, of course,
Yes.
right?
So not only are taxpayers paying for illegal immigrants' childcare in New York City, but we're paying for them not to assimilate. There's 15 kids in this class with 4 interpreters, so every 4 kids have their own interpreter. The primary window for language acquisition is birth to age 5, so we're just funding their isolation.
Is it free for childcare here? It's free, yeah?
Yes, a free program for parents, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a recent thing or it's been that way for a while?
3K has been 4 years.
4 years it's been free.
Yeah, pre-K has been many years.
Can you explain something to me that I'm curious about? Is universal childcare and what the differences are? Because they know that they're talking about instituting universal childcare, but it seems like what you're telling me is that it's already free here. So where is it
now they
not
are
free
talking
and when
about
is it?
2-year-olds.
2-year-olds are talking about. Okay.
Let's say 15 years ago they started the pre-K.
Yep.
And then that time pre-K only 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Children can only come to school for 2.5 hours.
Uh-huh.
But maybe 10 years ago, full day pre-K, right? Full day.
And this is
So
ages
full day
0
is
to 2? This is...
That's time only 4 years old.
Okay.
Only free for 4 years old. And then 4 years ago, they add 3K. 3-year-old children can come to school for free.
For free.
Full day.
This actually all started with Eric Adams. Look at this. Mayor Adams rolls out Promise NYC to provide childcare assistance to low-income families with undocumented children for the first time ever. He did this because the city was being overwhelmed by illegal immigrants, some of which had many young kids, but they also started having kids once they got here because that allowed them to stay in the 5-star hotels longer.
Lo que pasa es que ese albergue solamente dan para vivir 2 meses, a menos de que la chica de que la persona pues vaya y tenga un bebé y.
Unless a woman is pregnant and she is soon to be due, then they let you stay 6 months.
Muy pequeño de recién nacido que vaya a dar a luz y les dan 6 meses de estadía. Pero normalmente
But normally they only allow you for 2 months and then you have to go.
son 2 meses y tiene que salir ya.
Do many people have birth during that 2-month period?
Sí. Esas personas son las que más tienen de pronto alguna, que pueda pasar o algún miedo eso.
They came here on a bus or a plane.
En bus. Aquí en Nueva York en bus.
Had their child for free, where it easily
plane, train
could cost a U.S. citizen upwards of $40,000. Did you have to pay to have your child here in America?
Usted tuvo que pagar para tener su hijo aquí.
Oh, sí. No.
No.
And then their child care is also for free.
No.
Do you speak English by any chance?
No, sorry.
You don't speak English? Is it free child care?
¿Es un cuidado infantil gratuito?
Sí.
When did you come to America?
2009.
What other ways is the government helping you?
Bueno,
All the ways.
lo único nomás mis niños reciben el food
Just food stamps for my kids.
Eso es lo único porque no pido otras ayudas.
Universal
housing,
childcare as a concept is not necessarily bad. It's awful when you see politicians like Chuck Schumer talk about fast-tracking 20 million illegals for amnesty, because then you see free childcare as just being used to buy votes. The president just announced that over 320,000 or 9% of all U.S. babies were born to illegal or temporary migrant mothers in 2023. The abuse happening to our country is unimaginable. On my way to the next daycare, I saw literal prostitutes just out and about.
There's just prostitution here on Roosevelt Avenue.
This is Queens, New York City, and just take a look at this. I see this woman just posted up here. She sees I have a camera and bolts upstairs. Look at her face. Then I see the exact same thing in another location, and this happens.
Oh my gosh.
Then I walk down the next street and see about 10 of them, and they all run away because of the camera. AOC,
Look at that
instead
booty.
of joining Mamdani to offer free childcare to illegals, maybe stop the prostitution happening in your district first.
My goodness. You having fun over there? Oh, a kitty house? A Korean barbecue restaurant for kitties? A little kitty house? I would like a Korean barbecue stand. That's adorable. How much is that? Unit. $40? That's not too bad. A White House for the cats? Of course there's a White House for the cats. Oh, that's adorable. Yeah. Hobo in the White House. All right, U.S. mobile partners with Starlink to bundle satellite internet with cellular plans. Wow, that's a big move. U.S. mobile, good for them. Merging space-based broadband with mobile connectivity in a single plan. Celestial and terrestrial network experience, so both. You get both. Starlink residential internet, dish and router included. How much is that? Multi-network cellular access across major U.S. carriers. One unified plan, one bill, one app. Seamless integration of home and mobile connectivity. Dude, how much though? How much it be? Pricing, pulse. Let's see. California controllers, or controller, pardon. California controller's top communications official admits audits are not getting done and acknowledges 100% fraud exists in the state. Shut up. Did that seriously say $50 a month? That's it? There's no way. There's absolutely, that's got to be wrong. That's probably just talking about the current US mobile pricing. There's absolutely no way. It would be insane. Got to be like 100 something. I mean, it's teased at under 50 a month. You're shitting me. What? Combined plan will be less than $50 a month. Covers Starlink residential internet, dish and router included. Unlimited multi-network cell. One unified bill, one app. Dude, I am gonna, like, seriously, I'm gonna go for that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump off T-Mobile. Like, yeah, that's... No, I want the Starlink. Are you kidding me? That shit is so useful. Especially if you get one of the little mobile guys. That's so cool. Well, shit, if you want to stick with T-Mobile, maybe I'll, depending on how the launch goes, maybe we'll need a business line. Eventually, one day. That's pretty dang cool, man. All right, let's see. What's this? California. Oh, this is long. We're like top of the hour here. We'll just keep moving. Senator Ed Markey.
Kill an entire civilization.
Whining about Trump. Wants to remove him from office. Oh, they're all spewing it right now. Cuckoo bullshit.
Obviously, Senator, the president.
He's lost his mind. 25th Amendment now. That's the thing Trump did. He got in big trouble for.
The president did not kill an entire civilization last night. Is impeachment really a productive or even feasible tool at this point with Republicans in control of Congress?
Democrats must proceed with the filing of the impeachment articles. We need to work as hard as we can to put the Republican Party, which is morally bankrupt, which is spineless, which wants to be in a witness protection program, even as moral atrocities are being planned in their name. We must proceed towards the goal of removing Donald Trump from office, and we must do this now, and that has to be the Democratic agenda.
So nasty. We'll skip. One doctor, 1 year, $71 million. Wow, $71 million worth of Medicare claims. CBS News continuing to investigate in California after obviously massive public pressure. Thank goodness. Where's the sound at, bro? One LA County doctor is associated with 126 hospices. According to state auditors, that is a red flag for hospice fraud. Oh, here we go. There's some.
Elevator. That first hospice was a little bit of a surprise. People were inside. They were willing to talk to us.
Dr. Rajiv Buva is the medical director here. We're just trying to get some information about it.
He's not.
He's not? No. Was he at some point?
Yes, he was.
But you're telling me he no longer is associated with you guys?
No.
Was he at some point? My name is Adi Yamaguchi. I'm a correspondent with CBS News, and we're doing a story about hospice, how often he's here.
All right, so I knocked on the door. Dr. Buva came out, surprisingly spoke to me for about 20 or so minutes. He knew exactly who I was. He was very familiar with our reporting and immediately said, I don't know what else I can tell you. You guys seem to be doing your thing. There's nothing really for me to add. I said that I'm here because your name comes up as medical director across dozens and dozens of hospices across LA County, and that this is something that both the state and federal government will call up as potential warning signs for fraud. Again, not accusing him of anything, but that it does raise a flag. We'll see if he is willing to talk to us again. He said he wouldn't close the door on it, but we'll have to see. As he asked, I obliged. I brought this with us, and we knocked on his door several times. As we walked up, we could hear people inside. We heard voices through the cracked window. As soon as we rang that first doorbell, things went silent. We stood there for about 5 minutes or so, give him every opportunity to come out and talk to us. And I think he's made his decision. He's got my email address.
Oh, he knows it's over. The gravy train's coming down. Mavash Siddiqui, U.S. consulate officer in India, says there is an entire industry in India for fraudulent H-1B visas to get into America. You don't say. Really? Never heard such a thing.
Everybody and their mother wanted to go to the United States. I saw the cracks, and I warned people when I served in India, what I saw in terms of industrialized fraud, there is a huge back industry where you have storefronts after storefronts focused on basically creating fraudulent documents, fake transcripts, fake bank statements, fake degrees.
We've covered that before.
Certificates to use the visa loophole to cut the line and actually emigrate to the
It's truly insane.
U.S.
And these people actually come here and treat you medically. Fucking fake doctors, literally, like with garbage medical degrees that, and you know, they somehow are able to like cram to sort of get through the test just barely. And they set them up at, you know, some shitty like shack of a medical school, you know, specifically designed just to crank this bullshit out. And is it any wonder our healthcare system is absolute fucking shit at this point? Like, no, it's literally run by these people.
H-1B visa is a guest worker visa. It's a temporary.
And yeah, literally everything else too, by the way, not just your healthcare system, hotels, basically any service industry, gas stations, you name it.
Status visa, but these are not exemplary.
Call centers, data centers,
individuals,
you know, any customer service, network administration, you know, anywhere in tech. Is it any wonder we've fallen behind in tech? Started to anyway. Damn near let China take over. Because we keep staffing retards instead of, you know, our people who want us to do better and are driven to do better.
These are run-of-the-mill people. They get sashayed into the OPT program, and then they get preferential treatment by the Silicon Valley managers. We were just like so overwhelmed that there was this pressure to issue. We don't have that luxury of time. But there were politicians, whether from South India arena or from Delhi itself, saying you need to issue visas. Even if that individual is not qualified, we have this ludicrous pressure to say if that person is not a terrorist, go ahead and issue.
Out of all the 50,000 plus visa applications, how many of those were legitimate?
Easily between 70 to 80%. That was my denial rate. Everyone's benefiting in this whole system, right? There's kickbacks that everyone gets. The H-1B manager, they would prefer their own Indian people because it's not about
every time you see the most nepotistic shits.
Because the Indians
ever
are the best and the brightest. Bribery is quite.
When you think Jews are bad, wait till you meet an Indian.
Normalized. I saw a lot of H-1Bs as well as J-1s who have bought their seats into medical school. That sort of stuff does not jive with our values.
Are these H-1B visa holders superior to Americans in every way imaginable?
Absolutely not in screaming letters and OT.
Yeah. Ridiculously nepotistic. They will hire straight up. Indian only. Generally family only. Sick. Oh wow, this is scary. The Chinese AI agent Manos AI. It's not Chinese, it's Facebook. That's owned by Facebook, my dear.
Calm down. Very calm down.
I don't know that that's Manus either. I think that's probably Alibaba's version. Oh, here you go. Introducing Manus, the general AI agent. This is pretty interesting. Manus is pretty cool. Facebook is bright. It's a bright move to snap them up.
Hi, I'm Pete from Manus AI. For the past year, we've been quietly building what we believe is the next evolution in AI. And today, we're launching an early preview of Manus, the first general AI agent.
It's basically like a sanitized version of OpenClaw for people who aren't tech wizards.
Another chatbot or workflow. It's a truly autonomous agent that bridges the gap between conception and execution. While other AI stops at generating ideas, Manus delivers results. We see it as the next paradigm of human-machine collaboration, and potentially a glimpse into AGI. Now let me show you Manus in action across 3 completely different tasks. Let's start with an easy one. In this example, we'll ask Manus to help screen resumes. I've just sent Manus a zip file containing 10 resume documents. Since each Manus session has its own computer, it can work like a human. First unzipping the file, then browsing through each resume page by page, and recording important information to documents. Manus works asynchronously in the cloud, which means you can close your laptop anytime, and Manus will notify you when everything is complete. Of course, you can also give Manus new instructions at any time. Here I've sent Manus 5 more resumes. After carefully reading all 15 resumes, Manus provides its ranking suggestions, along with candidate profiles and evaluation criteria as supporting materials.
I am in the middle of building some fascinating technology just like this, actually, for other purposes, but without giving away anything.
Manus has its own knowledge and memory, so it can teach Manus that the next time it handles a similar task, it will deliver a spreadsheet right away. In this example, we'll have Manus conduct some research. It needs to filter New York properties based on multiple criteria. For complex tasks, Manus first breaks them down and creates a to-do list. Manus begins by searching and carefully reading articles about the safest neighborhoods.
Pretty amazing.
Then Manus researches middle schools in New York. Next, Manus writes a Python program to calculate my budget. Based on my budget, Manus filters listings on real estate websites. Finally, combining all the information gathered, Manus writes a detailed report and compiles all the resources.
Not bad. I still haven't seen anything that Claude Cowork doesn't already do, but...
Example, we have Manus perform a correlation analysis between stocks. For professional data, Manus can access authoritative data sources through APIs. After validating the acquired data, Manus begins writing code for data analysis and visualization.
I know a lot of this stuff goes over most people's heads, but I'm telling you, this opens up so many doors for you to do, like, literally just about anything you can think of, like, programming-wise, and, like, anything. Yeah. Like, creating videos, imagery, there's so many things you can do with this stuff. It's really wild. Recommend playing with it and seeing if you take to it. Like, it's definitely not for everyone, but if you jive with it well, you can do some wild stuff. I'm telling you, I'm doing crazy things, stuff that blows my mind. Every other hour, I blow my own mind with what I'm now able to do. Yeah, that one's owned by Facebook now. They snapped that up. I don't know how much they paid, but it was a good buy. Now here's Claude's version. Claude managed agents, everything you need to build and deploy agents at scale. Oh, this is kind of different. This is building agentic systems. There's an agent harness tuned for performance with production infrastructure. You can go from prototype to launch in days. Now in public beta? Okay, well, I need to check this out. How use? Managed agents. Once this stuff, I'm telling you, man, like, if this stuff does go over your head, just go immerse yourself for a little while, and eventually it'll click for you, like how all this works and why it's just so insanely incredible. It did for me, like, that's how it worked for me anyway. Like, confused the hell out of me for, I don't know, a couple weeks. But then after you immerse yourself for a good, few hundred hours or so, something, you cross the threshold and it all just starts to fall into place and start making sense. As with most things. I gotta tag that. I gotta come back to that. All right, anything last minute? I'm like way over here. We're like, we didn't even make it close to the end.
You're fine. Take your time.
You sure? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. You know me. If there's anybody for you to run over, I'm not going to say anything to you. Go for it.
Cool. Let's see if we got anything else interesting here. Oh, Satoshi. What's going on with what? Bitcoin's founder Satoshi Nakamoto has remained hidden for 17 years. Trail of clues and a year of digging by our reporter John Carreyrou, whatever, led us to a 55-year-old computer scientist in El Salvador named, we're back on Adam Beck again. Adam Beck. Isn't it the same guy Cullen settled on? Oh, no, that was Peter. Yeah, that was Peter. What's his name? But this is one of the other floated possibilities people have settled on. He's definitely an interesting guy, but I don't know. I don't think I personally have my doubts that it's any one guy like that. I would think more something. I don't know about the CIA, but something like that. Ketamine Queen sentenced to 15 years in prison for the death of Matthew Perry. Rotten hell, bitch. You killed Matthew Perry. How dare you? Oh, cool. Okay. Heck yeah, neato. Artemis 2 astronauts captured these views of the moon as Orion flew around the far side on April 6th. Sick. Wow. Neat. Oh, neat. Time lapse. That is so cool. Gorgeous. Following a successful lunar flyby, the Artemis 2 astronauts captured this breathtaking photo of the Milky Way. Would you look at that? Stars. Funny what happens when you actually expose for them. Suddenly they're everywhere.
Crew are getting a right now.
Oh, come on.
Right now, the crew are getting a few moments to enjoy and take photos for themselves.
The amazing sights that we saw earlier. You can see the surface of the moon. It is the strangest looking thing. We just went sci-fi.
You're getting a live look from Orion as the crew observes a...
God, those are stunning photos. Just beautiful. Especially this one where you actually do get stars, since the sun is actually on the other side. It's dim enough that the stars show up. That is just beautiful.
Live look from Orion.
The backlight, like the backlit. Is, oh my God. Ah.
As the crew observes a solar eclipse from the moon.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station. How do you hear?
We have been waiting for this like you can't imagine.
I wanted to say a couple things to my Astro sister, Jessica. I always hoped we would be in space again together, but I never thought it would be like this. It's amazing.
Ah, that was their wake up song. Couple days away from splashdown. On the way back. Katie Vance.
A few things actually. So
yeah, I'll skip it.
Laid the foundation. 250 years ago, 13 colonies laid the foundation for the greatest and most enduring democracy in the history of the world. One driven by courage, faith, and freedom. From that moment, we became a nation defined not by where we stood, but by how far we were willing to go. We conquered vast frontiers, invented tools that shaped a modern world. We found light in the dark, and we rose from the earth. Faster, higher, farther. We pushed beyond the sky and into the unknown. We carried our courage into the cosmos, And we planted the American flag on the moon, the defining achievement of American superiority in space. Today, our curiosity stretches farther than ever. American robots search ancient rivers on Mars. New telescopes unfold to glimpse the first stars. And a new generation prepares to return to the moon, this time to stay. For 250 years, America has carried the light of humanity forward. But American exceptionalism isn't inherited, it's earned. Our greatness comes not only from what we've done, but what we're still determined to discover. Because in every era, across every horizon, America is at its best when it's reaching for something greater. America celebrates 250 years, and we are leading the world into the future.
Neat. All right. Census data shows red states are having a baby boom and blue states are collapsing in population. I hope so. Really hope so. Whoa, cool. Thermal blanket laboratory. Wow.
So blanketing, basically anything that goes in space either has to have a special coating or blanket. And what we do here is make the blankets. So those layers are water protecting instruments, different hardware, satellites, whatever the case may be. And we basically, we're pattern makers. We're designing for spacecrafts like we would for a body. And right over here we have our layup table. Usually this is what we use to do our bulk layups, which are 12 feet by 4 feet, and they're how many layers the thermal engineer says we should have. They do testing to decide what they want that temperature to be regulated at, whether they want to keep it colder, they want to keep it warmer, and whatever the case may be, that's what we do. We have 2 sewing machines. This is our newest one right here, and this is the one we use a lot right now when we do need to sew. The interesting thing that's happened here lately is that I've gotten to work on the zero gravity indicator doll, which was a lot of fun because that's probably the most sewing I've done here in years, which was really interesting, and I got to be more creative in a different way. This is the moon right here, so working on that. There's going to be a SD card that's going to be put on the Rise doll, so I'm working through on that, how to do that, because it has to have a zipper. So I will be working on that today, figuring out how we're going to put the zipper on the bottom of the moon. The SD card can go in here, but my concern is because I didn't make it with material here, the SD card could slide through here. So it's a little bit of trial and error because I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. One thing that makes me really proud is that something that I touched, that I made, is going to be around for a while, and it is going up in space. There's no other way to say it. It's a proud moment.
Pretty neat.
One missile went 2,500. One missile went 2,500.
Oh yeah, hey, did they ever hold that event? Or was that just closed door straight up? Sounds like it. Yep.
Miles, they supposedly didn't have a missile like that. They had no missile with that capability. But they shot the now famous Ireland, the island that the UK was very afraid to give us because they didn't want to get dragged in. But we don't want to get dragged into their wars either. You know? One thing, we're very disappointed, I'll say it publicly, we're very disappointed with NATO because NATO has done absolutely nothing. And I've always said, 25 years ago, I mean, I was somebody that wasn't a politician, but I was always involved in politics and I understood politics. I said 25 years ago that NATO's a paper tiger, but more importantly, that we'll come to their rescue, but they will never come to ours. One missile went 2,500 miles. They supposedly didn't have a missile like that.
Dario Amodei. Anthropic's Claude Mythos model sparks fear of AI doomsday if released to the public. Yep. Weapons we can't even envision. Yeah. That's where we're headed this year. And if they don't release it, which they will eventually, I guarantee you, someone else will. Only a matter of time. Open source even, too. That's going to get really crazy. Another top American scientist, research scientist at NASA's JPL, has joined the growing list of mysterious deaths and disappearances among high-level scientists. Another one, huh?
Is now reporting a ninth scientist with ties to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab has been added to the growing list of researchers across the country who have died under mysterious circumstances or disappeared. Fox News senior national correspondent Kevin Corke has the details. Hey, Kevin.
Afternoon to you, Will. Mike Hicks was a research scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL, and apparently he died back in July of 2023 at the age of 59. But the cause of death was never made public, and no record of an autopsy being performed on him has ever been found. Now, on its face, that might not sound like such a big deal, but his is, as you point out, the ninth case of a person with ties to America's space and nuclear secrets who has died or mysteriously vanished in recent years, including retired Air Force General Bill McCaslin, who was reported missing by his wife more than a month ago. He'd been studying unidentified anomalous phenomena and potential non-human intelligence. Now, in common speak, that simply means aliens. And to be sure, the trend of unexplained deaths and disappearances is setting off alarm bells, both among national security experts and among lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I think there's a message being sent in all this. I think we better be really careful, and it's more than 8. You take any other profession in the world, take car salesmen. How many of those have disappeared or died mysteriously in this in this country? And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of those. This is a very, very small group of people, and we better start paying attention to what's going on.
The great Tim Burchett speaking there. Another scientist missing, Monica Reza, JPL's Director of Materials Processing. She vanished without a trace last June, just months after beginning her tenure at the NASA lab. And perhaps most vexing of all, because of the nature of the research being conducted and the unusual circumstances surrounding many of these disappearances and deaths, we have scant new information, Will, about leads, though the investigation, we are told, at this very hour does continue. Will.
Either in the
8 now. 8 missing or dead. Bamberger confronted about how she's the most unpopular Virginia governor in the 21st century. Is she really? Not surprised. She's gross. You can just look at her.
Earlier this week, there was a pull-up that had your numbers a little unfavorable, and then your predecessor, Glenn, was making a podcast run earlier this week to taking a couple jabs at you. I guess overall, on your numbers, what do you attribute that to, and then what would you say back to Glenn?
I would say, if everybody hated me, why is everybody putting my face on their mailers for the referenda?
Ma'am, earlier this week, there was a pull-up that had your numbers a little unfavorable, and then your predecessor, Glenn, was making a podcast run earlier this week to...
I wouldn't be putting that bitch's faces anywhere. Except in maybe a paper bag. Victim's attorney claims ChatGPT aided accused Florida state gunman in planning shooting. What? That's nuts.
Did the suspected FSU shooter use AI to help plan his
dark mood? Go.
His attack at the student union? That's the new claim from a lawyer representing the widow of one of the victims. Our Capital City correspondent Matt Hoffman joining us live from FSU's campus tonight. And Matt, you've reviewed these allegations. What can you share?
Sure did. According to the attorneys for victim Robert Morales, the alleged shooter was in constant communication with ChatGPT leading up to that shooting. 270 messages or so, in fact, the law firm says, including messages where the chatbot suggested he should do it. Tallahassee-based attorneys Ryan Hobbs and Dean LaBeouf revealed Monday that they plan to sue OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, on behalf of one of the victims, Robert Morales. They said, quote, "We also have reason to believe that ChatGPT may have advised the shooter how to commit these heinous crimes." Now, AI popping up is no surprise to policing expert John Creamer.
So AI, ChatGPT, and all these other types of computer-based technologies have been around for decades. Yeah. They're just really permeating the public sector, especially in first responders. Oh my God, I hate to say this, but law enforcement needs to worry about everything related to AI and ChatGPT.
Creamer hosts the Florida Deputy Sheriff's Association's A Tactical Pause podcast. They've been exploring how AI both hurts and helps.
However, somebody programmed them, and if they're machine learning, they're growing, they're not accurate. So they might give me erroneous information and push me down a road to do something that's unprecedented.
Court documents reveal some 270 messages between the alleged shooter, Phoenix Eichner, and ChatGPT. But the content of those messages is unknown. WCTV has requested a copy of the evidence, but has not received those documents yet. Now, separately, the law firm revealed they have two claims against the Leon County Sheriff's Office. One for negligently allowing the shooter to remain on a youth advisory council, and another because the shooter's stepmother is actually a deputy herself. So far, LCSO has said the shooter exhibited no extremist behaviors while in that advisory council, and that it's cooperating in the investigation. Now, of course, we reached out to OpenAI for any comment they would like to give. So far, they haven't given one. April 17th will mark 1 year since that shooting, so this announced civil lawsuit no doubt bringing folks back to that fateful day. For now in Tallahassee, I'm Matt Hoffman, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Yeah, that date rapidly approaching, Matt. Thank you.
Barney Mullen is a...
Come on. Okay. Biden appointed federal judges blocked the Trump admin from allowing temporary protected status for thousands of Ethiopians to expire. So close. It's so far away. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman held a meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia today. Ailing Joe Biden surfaces for dinner at Cine Santa Monica restaurant. Oh, he's not looking so good. I mean, especially not so good. Whoa, that's pretty wild. Nearly half of U.S. data centers planned for 2026 are either facing delays or outright cancellations. Many projects cannot source enough energy or the crucial electrical components, memory especially. It's exorbitant now. It's out of control. Good. All right. That's the top of the list. Thanks for letting me run over there. There we are.
Always.
Oh, hey, by the way, because I always
up.
forget this, guys. Please don't forget to help out. Because we're, yet again, in dire straits. I just want to remind everyone, thanks to DLive playing their games, and now they're disappearing, and we have no idea if they're ever going to pay us what they owe us. So you can help out, please do. There have been a number of people that have helped out the last couple days. I've been asking. So if that's you, thank you big time. We've at least gotten out of the red. The bills are coming due every month, so if you can help out, please do. Please. I hate asking, but we need it, so let me drop the link. There we
you.
go.
I
Was
was
up?
just there. I feel you. I said I was just there. I was overdrawn $243 in my bank account because my
It's the
Zoom
worst
annual
feeling. I
thing
hate it.
came through. Yeah, 50. You feel pretty bad having to call your sister, who's 3 years older, and being like, "Hey, yeah, I get it." So I get it. But hopefully, with Rumble and we'll see. We'll see, right?
I think we'll be
Fingers
all right
crossed.
at Rumble. They even like before we moved, they consistently send like it ends up being like $100 a month ish. So with what, like 3 or 4 times the audience, that should increase. I don't know, hopefully 3 to 4 times. That would be good. That's a reasonable. That's enough to like pay most, like I would say the vast majority of the bills. I don't remember the exact number, what it comes to per month, but it would be nice.
Yeah, after 8 years.
Yep.
For sure, for sure.
All right, well, I'll let you get to it. We're like way over here, so I'll get out of your way.
You're all right. It's all good. All right, hon. Have a good one.
I will. Yeah, you too.
All right, boy. All right, let's get into some. First off, let me do my. I'm going to do the because Pam brought it